You know what's so funny, guys? Good morning. But you know what's so funny? Oh wait, I don't want to flash you with rope, but I wasn't going to. But like, I always think about it. But and it's all the way like that. Like, there's no way. You know what I mean? Modest. But oh, wait. There's things in the way. Okay, you've got the perfect spot now, right? Okay, kind of. So, you know what's so funny? So, I like there was like a mouse or a possum that was like chewing on my bedroom door because the door was closed. So I couldn't get in, but it just like chewed the door. It's like I don't own a dog. You know how like if you do own a dog and the dog is like untrained or something, or it's too wild and it feels like left out of something, it'll like chew through a door trying to like get to you. But like I don't have a dog. So like some kind of mouse or rat or possum was like somehow inside. There's like none right now. You know what I mean? But like they show up once in a while. And so it was like chewing through the door trying to get to me. It didn't get to me. It only got like a quarter of the way through the wood. But if it had tried for like many more hours, perhaps, you know. Anyway, that was the other day. That wasn't last night, but last night I heard something in the hallway. I actually thought it was because we had like a little bit of like a ghost, just a little bit. Like it would like open and close that door and like slam it if people like were nearby and stuff. But that was like it. But like it sounded like a large dog, or like I don't know, like if it were like me, like if I like jumped onto the ground and like laid down and like rolled around and like hit the walls. Like it sounded like that, but there was no person. I didn't want to look, but I was like, nobody is doing that. It's not a person. I was like, so this possum is like the size of a refrigerator or something. Like, if there is one, like that doesn't make sense. I guess we're gonna have a trap set up for it so it can make its choice. Are you gonna randomly die from whatever you're choosing to do, or are you gonna get out of here? Like, what's going on? Oh, but like, no, like it seriously. Why? Why was it like just? It was like somebody rolling around in the hallway, but there was nobody there. And like, I just felt like it was like a ghost because it sounded and felt more like, I don't even know. Like, how was it a person? You know? I don't know, but maybe it wasn't a ghost. It was just weird. It was just weird. I don't know. But I also felt like it was like super magical. Like I felt like, what if like it, you know how sometimes when something happens you're like, oh yeah, like your brain's like, oh yeah, like this is the most likely situation, like it's just a mouse or it's just a rat or it's just a possum, like that, right? I was, for some reason instead, I was like, the most likely solution or situation is that it probably could have been anything, but it teleported there. It just like teleported there, you know? Then I woke up today and I looked at the mirror in the hallway. There's like this green, the outside is green, but it's just a normal mirror, but it's like on the wall. And like it actually looked like way different. Like it doesn't look different, but like it like through like my third eye, like it looks different. Like it's always been something I didn't really notice, but now it's like the center of like the only like important like thing in the hallway, you know what I mean? So it was interesting. Interesting, you know? But yeah. So that's what's new. What's new with you? You know. Okay. And of this, it's just one of those like potions. They kind of don't taste good though. I don't really know what that's all about. But yeah, it's not like the most magical experience if there's like a possum in the house, but like the first time I ever saw them, I was just sitting on the couch and the entrance for the possum must be under the couch. So I was just on the couch. I think I looked down at like my shoes for no reason that were like under the table like in front of me. And I just saw like a possum like walk in. There were 2 of them. I just saw it like like walk in from under the couch like under me. Like my legs were like on the couch, but I just watched it like I just watched years ago. I just watched 2 possums because they have like an entrance somewhere that they just like do it. They're like, what's this? The possum environment? Like, what's that? But yeah. I was like, nobody's ever gonna believe me. But those are real. Possums are real. And no one's gonna believe me. So, I don't know. There's possums that have personalities. And they just show up. Cheers. Cheers. I like that this one is plastic and not glass. Because sometimes little things like this are glass and not plastic. And it's weird. Like, I get it. It looks like fancy. Like, you know. But I don't know. It doesn't seem right. But plastic? Well, I guess, oh no, it comes from the dinosaurs. You know. But look at the label, it's so cute. So good for the world, because it has a picture of the world. So. It's like the prettiest shade of green. Like the liquid is like that green. So. Talking about it makes it like taste a little better, but it kind of doesn't taste that good. It has lion's mane, I don't know what bacopa is, cognizant, rhodolia, cordyceps. That sounds like Cyclops. Like, actually, what is cordyceps? It sounds like Cyclops to me. That's the only one that sounds like, I'm literally losing my voice. It sounds like Cyclops. Okay, there's matcha in here. Ashwagandha, I don't know what that is. None of these are ringing a bell, really. There's L-theanine and turmeric. And then there's vitamins B2, B3, B12, C, and D. Okay, there's sunshine in here and there's citrus in here. The rest of them, I don't know who's supposed to know what B2, B3, and B12 are from the top of your head. You're supposed to know. Anyway, this is going to turn me into a Cyclops if I drink one of these every day, which is why I don't. I only drink them once in a while because that would be so bad to not be prepared for that and have that randomly happen to you. I like having 2 eyes, thank you very much. And having them in the right spot. Anyway. I like that it's healthy. It does kind of taste weird. There's 55 milligrams of caffeine, but it doesn't feel like the caffeine of coffee. It feels like it sort of wakes you up like immediately. I feel like coffee has like a moment, like, you know, you have to like wait for coffee. This only wakes up from like here up, but like mostly right here, you know? But coffee kind of does like the body to me, I feel like. So it's not the same even though they both have caffeine, in my opinion, but I don't know if you guys have like the same reaction or something, right? But maybe you do. Maybe that's what this potion is, you know? We're all different, but like the potion just is something on its own. So. Oh yes. Now I should have coffee because not for a specific reason. That kind of made my stomach hurt, like the muscle. Like it made like I feel like it's like a workout, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I just did like 100 like setups, you know, like the muscle is like, I don't know, it's there. It's 100% real. I don't know. Okay. This should we do? It's just Columbia coffee, but does it have a flavor? Is Columbia a flavor? Hopefully not, because I'm half Colombian, so then I would be half flavored if you were just eat me, but hopefully not, because that'd be bad, right? Because I don't want you to have like a good experience of eating me, right? Well, actually I would, but not because I would want you to do that, but because you know what? That would mean you get good karma if somebody enjoys the process of eating you, unfortunately, because you still get good karma from like causing that. But that would be terrible to see happen to you. It would be like traumatizing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's certain things that would be like traumatizing. Anyway, I had the coolest dream last night, but yeah. It was just cool. There were these like Egyptian temples. The first time we went in them, there were like cobwebs and dust everywhere. But then the second time, like we left and then came back and or they were like these like burials. There were like tombs. They were like Egyptian ones that were actually like real in the dream, but then we came back and somebody had bedazzled them or they were different. But like all the tombs had like rhinestones and like glitter and stuff. They were like rainbow. It was so cool. It was so fun. So, yeah. That part was cool. Alright. But yeah, it was super fun. But I didn't know. It was so funny. Like, I couldn't figure out, like who had done that? Why was it like that? Like, but it was cool. But I'd never seen anything like that because it was like sufficiently decorated. It was like everything you look at is like rainbow instead of cobwebs. Every single thing. It was so weird. Anyway, this is Dunkin' Butter Pecan. So I think I'm gonna use that one, but we literally have like multiple versions. Like you're just balancing on 2 other boxes of them. We have options. But I like this one. Oh, I need water for the fucking thing. enough? Mr. Genie, is that enough? No, it has to be. It has to be enough. What was I just thinking about? Something. Oh, well, I don't know if I'm gonna lose my voice if I talk about it, but what I was gonna say is, do you ever, guys? Do you guys ever, like, think about after you die? But not about, like, other people who are still alive, but, like, about you. But, like, about, like, you and, like, what you decide to do after you die, but not just, like, are you reincarnating, but, like, what do you decide to do with, like, the lifetime that you are currently in, but, like, after you die? Because it's still yours, right? It's like if you made the whole thing, it's like a YouTube video or, like, a movie or something, right? So what I was thinking about is kind of, like, I feel like, what if people could make, like, art of, like, their past life, but, like, while they're not currently, like, a part of the life? You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes people walk through their lives and, like, maybe they didn't get into, like, music or something, or they didn't get into, like, making movies. What if you use the energy of your past life that you recently graduated from and you just, like, make the album you always wanted to make using that life? But I know that sounds weird, because you're like, why would you use it? But every moment of the lifetime was a certain amount of energy that was, or like, yeah, like a certain like type or pattern of energy that was kind of like given to you, and it was like designated as being for you. So I know some of it is like, it feels negative. You're like, yeah, but why did I have to go through that? Like, oh, whatever. Well, that's the kind of energy that you decided you were going to use to like grow through. But how do you know if you really grew through it if you don't use it for more than just the exact moment that you experienced it? So, like, use it up. Because if you sufficiently used something, like a memory, you would just forget it. You don't really keep memories if you used them. You just didn't use it yet. But, like, it would kind of be unsafe to you because you would, like, while you're a person in a way, because sometimes it changes stuff. And then you're like, well, what if I change what I wasn't supposed to change during the lifetime? But you get to change anything you want afterwards. What I mean by that is, say you were going to make like an album cover. The point is, like, you change the structure of your mind during that time to give yourself more options that you didn't get to use during the time. So say you never got into like music, but after you die, you go back to like your childhood room. You're like, okay, now the wallpaper is the album cover, like all of the objects in the room can now like create sound that just is, like, they become instruments, but like they create the sound of the vibration they're on because it wasn't audible back then. So now you get to understand the layer of it that you were never going to get to understand because you were a human, so you had to obey the laws of the world during the time you were human, or you were going to get hurt from it because you had a future timeline where you had to not be able to do that in order to get there, right? So you didn't want to let yourself, like, it would be like a self-betrayal if you're like allowed to bend the rules, which is why a lot of people can't, because how are you going to deal with that if you didn't get to live out something that you were maybe supposed to at a different time, right? You'd have to be strong to be able to like stomach that. Like, oh, whatever outcome I was planning on, maybe I didn't get that because I decided to do something different. Maybe it's cooler, but maybe I feel bad about what I decided to do. Because you don't know I'm out of breath because I wanted to just get that out there and not think about it. This is me, like, not thinking about it, but, like, you know what I mean? Because if you think about what you're saying, you kind of get in your own way. To me. I'd be like, why am I saying that? And I would forget everything I'm saying. But if I talk without thinking, then it's, like, way better. Way smarter ideas. But, yeah. But it would even be, like, oh, like, you kind of do break the rules, even, like, emotionally, if you do it that way. You go to your childhood room, you're, like, the point is you make so many varieties of the album, you don't just make one album out of your childhood room. You could be here for 10,000 years if you want, you know what I mean? Not just the one, you could be in your childhood room for, like, 100 years making that album that you wanted it to be at a certain point in your timeline, right? Because the whole, like, story of your life is yours. And so until you've used all the energy, you kind of do want to be like, well, this was given to me, so how can I express gratitude by using eating every crumb of it, right? Like, even if it wasn't perfect, well, why do you see it as, you only see it as not perfect because you're forced to obey the rules of the human world. But if, in the afterlife, if you're not, but you have that, like, room, you don't just have to, you know what I mean? You could be like, you could even look at the people in the memory because they don't, like, your copy of them isn't the actual person. But, like, it's almost like you get, like, a copy of who they were with the, like, memory and the story of it. So if you wanted to, even if you were the person who never got into, like, a certain kind of art, you could perfect talents that you didn't know that you could have had, you know? Because there's more variety. But also, it's gonna be different because say you used this to, like, inspire a sound that you make, even if it's just, like, singing or words, right? Just because you can't really dig into it right now because you don't know what it would be, everything has an emotion. Like, this, not just because it's water, but, like, everything has an emotion, like, inside of it, and words inside of it. Even this has, like, an emotion and, like, words inside of it. Like, it's really a song. It's not only really a song, but, like, it is also a song. Because everything is everything. Even a song is, like, a real solid object, you know? Like, you could really get into, like, the different versions of, like, what you would want to do. Why? Because I just think it would be, like, a cool, like, grieving process of, like, the life that you're leaving. Not that you have to, but, like, why leave it sad if you, like, even had attachment to any part of it, right? Even if you don't, like, some people kind of move on, but I think that's even sadder because why not have fun with it and, like, grow the mind that you have using the mind that, like, you didn't know you could have had. I don't know. I see it as, like, resourceful, but yeah. Just pouring the water in my coffee. Woo. Just to water it down. But also, if you got into, like, cooking, or if you didn't and you wanted to, like, what if you used things that weren't food, like, you used, like, the kitchen table to make, like, a salad, and you're like, oh, it's delicious. Like, you got to experience the process of it, and it changes the way that you think about reality. Because while you're alive, you look at all these objects, and you're forced to, like, obey the rules, you know? But I think it grows you when you're, like, after you've moved on and, like, you're no longer, like, forced to. Then you can use that experience for, like, whatever you want to, you know? I just think it's fun. And because there's so much energy there that, like, they really, like, you couldn't really be forced to, like, reincarnate if you do that because you get to just, like, romanticize, like, the life that you had. And then you have so much energy because, like, why did you use, like, the microwave to make, like, a smoothie or something, you know? Like, why did you turn that chair into a song and now it's evaporated? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it does give you the energy you need, but like in a way more fun way. And like, I guess, did you really learn about the life you already had sufficiently and work through every emotion of it? Because when you experience things, like, sometimes it's not actually you who, like, you feel that way, but it's not actually you who causes you to feel that way. You just think it is. But it's like the environment has emotions attached to it. So it would help you to separate yourself if there were any moments like you didn't learn everything you possibly could have learned about to like do something weird, you know? But I think like that. Because sometimes making albums does that, just more in a metaphorical, like not physical way, right? Like you create like an album cover, it's like, well, you used what you used for the album cover, but what if you also used like the ceiling, but you don't know, but like you used a little bit of the energy of the ceiling, but like you didn't put a picture of the ceiling there, you know what I mean? What if you used a little bit of the energy of like the food in the fridge, but like you didn't know because you didn't physically put food on the album cover, but like you kind of used it because it was one of your resources. And so yeah, like you're using your resources, but like what if you went to go run a race and you used a little bit of the food as your energy, but like it was the food at your house that you didn't eat, that you used as your energy while you were out running that race, you know what I mean? Because it was your resource that belonged to you. You just got to like spend it differently. So spending it differently is sort of what like I mean by the whole thing, I guess. Like, you know, for as long as a physical object exists in your memory, you sort of like have more that you can use it for. Which is why you could spend a long time, you could spend like thousands of years there if you wanted to. But I know people are like, well, why would you? Wouldn't you want to move on? Well, why did you give yourself that exact energy if you don't want to grow through it in some way? Even if you already grew through it, don't you want to like test yourself and find out if there's more ways you could like grow through it? I feel like, why not? Why not use it for like everything you could? If you wanted to be changed by that energy, which is why people choose a human life though. You don't want to be the same person when you walk in as when you walk out. You want to like choose the one that's going to change you in ways you didn't even know you wanted to be changed. So if you used it sufficiently, I feel like you would like do a lot with it. But then you sort of like, you're like decorated yourself with the energy of that lifetime. Because you make it about you. You bring it back to like being about you, I guess. Which sounds weird, but like you just bring it back to like it being about you and find out what every part of it like reflects about you and like what it makes you feel. It's like an option, I don't know. I don't know why you would or wouldn't do it, but you know. I guess that's it for the video. I have other stuff I want to do. I love you, bye!